So my parents were busy with other stuff, with my brothers, you know, trying to put food on the table, trying to pay college here, college there. So the youngest of my brother is 8 years older than me. So I am, let's say right now I'm 33 years old. The next of my brother is 41. So I kind of grew up by myself. So my friends were like the best thing ever. So I think the sad part of everything was that. And how can I say? Another sad part during school time was not making it into medical school, because I really wanted to do that. And I knew that my parents will be really proud of that, and my older brother will be really proud of that. My older brother kind of acted like my dad. My dad was always very busy working. So even though he was home, he was not always present. And my mom had to also do, you know, work. She used to sew, and she made beautiful dresses. So my older brother was the one who take care of me. He will take me to parties, college parties. He will take me with him and his girlfriend. He will take me to, you know, do work with his friends. He was like my second dad. And I think from disappointing my dad to disappointing him, I was more afraid of disappointing him. So that was a big thing for me, you know, when I was in. One of the things that you learn from American society, from TV and stuff like that, it's living on your own, right? Here, you're 18, you're out of the house. When I was about 18 and I was working and I was going to school, so I thought I can do it. I can live on my own. So when I told my parents about it, my mom told me, listen, if you leave this house without being married, you're out. You are not going to be my daughter. I mean, it's not like she's going to disinherit me, but she's just going not to recognize me as her daughter, because none of my family, the girls, will do that. It's not something that is seen proper in the society, not just in my family, in the whole society. So marriage is a very important thing. When I was getting married with my husband, my mom asked me, because I got married very young, my mom told me, listen, if you're going to marry, you're going to marry forever, because I'm not going to have a divorced daughter. So until now, like, all my brothers are married for a long time. I'm married for 12 years. And so she said, you know, if you're going to marry, you have to marry forever. So yeah, that you have to. That's a must. And whoever doesn't is it's not bad now, but it's still seen as something not proper. You know, you still see people like, hey, you know, that's the person that they're living together. Or my brother and my sister-in-law did it. They started living together, and when my mom found out, it was hell for my brother. So after that, they married. Like, I think they lived together for 3 or 4 months. And then once my parents find out that he was spending nights there and things like that, there's like, you guys have to marry. So they arrange a civil wedding to get married, and then they can live together. I think it's the culture and you know, and the fear of you know, I think of the fear of God too, but it's more the culture, because I personally love the Aztec history, and I have read a lot of books about it, and the culture was like that. The culture was that you married, you're a virgin when you're married, you know, you go with your husband, and wherever your husband goes, you go. Whatever your husband says, you do. So that's actually, that comes from more from the Aztecs and the culture than from the religion. I guess the religion just came to tie it out, but it was something that you have to do. And there was arranged marriage also before time. You know, like in the Aztec, it was arranged marriage. The families, when they were born, they already decided who was going to marry who. That changed with Christianity, but it was like that. They used to, the families, for example, they used to be neighbors, and they had kids. They decided, okay, we're going to marry our kids, you know, kind of like an Islamic way. So when I hear people talking about Mexicans or Hispanics as Americans, and don't get me wrong, I like America. This is a very, very good country, but it's not the same. Our culture is not the same. So that's when my husband told my mother-in-law that she was marrying me, and he told her where I was from. They thought, oh, she's American. You know, she's American. She's going to divorce at the first problem they had. She's gonna do things like this. But this is not. I'm not an American. I'm Mexican. So my culture is different. After college, I work in this factory. I worked there for 2 years. Then after that, I met my husband, and then things happened so fast. I didn't work, and I have not worked since I came to the U.S. Before I was Muslim, I didn't really know about Islam. The only thing I knew about Islam was about the news. You know. The beatings of women in Saudi Arabia, that women in Saudi Arabia are not allowed to drive. At that time, it was around 1890s, there was a movie by Sally Field called Not Without My Daughter. And it was about this American married an Iranian. And then, you know, he's very nice here in the U.S. He's the perfect husband. But once everybody moves to Iran, it's totally a bad thing for her. He beats her up. He treats her bad. He makes her wear the burqa. So it was that gave us that bad side of Islam. So that's what I knew about Islam. I didn't knew any Muslims. I didn't knew any person out of Mexico, to tell you the truth. The only one was my sister-in-law, which is from Panama, which is also Latin America. So I didn't know anything accurate about Islam. I only knew the bad part. So I'm in college. I stopped working, and at this time, my life, it's a party. College, it's party. You go to school. Then weekends is, you know, you go party with your friends, and that was my life. And one of those parties, one of my classmates from college had a birthday in his house, so we went. And he also worked in a factory that my husband visited from the U.S. And I think it's just destiny, or, you know, like Allah's will. I think that's what it was, because my husband was going to go somewhere else. But the person that was going to take him somewhere else stood him up. So then he called my friend, asked him, hey, what are you doing? It's like, you know, I cannot go out. I have a party in my house. Do you want to come over? Engineering in my country is a men's thing. There's not many women. The percentage of women in engineering is very low. So then my husband asked him, how many girls is there? He was also a single guy. How many girls is there? And the guy said, oh, like, you know, 5. It's like, oof. He's like, okay, you know, I have nothing to do. I'm already ready. I'm just gonna go. And he's like, okay. So then he came to the house, to the party. And that's how I met him. And for some reason, I don't know, I think it's just Allah's plan that I had always been very good in English subject. English as a second language was always my ace. So I had, you know, some knowledge of English. He didn't speak any Spanish, So we started, you know, this conversation, and he had to leave the next day, so we just exchanged numbers and left.